How's it going, gents? Today we're going to be going over the rigger pouches that we offer here at Stand in the Door 1944. Let's get into it. So the rigger pouch is a really iconic piece of airborne kit. Reason being is because this pouch was seen all the way back at the very first combat operation that was using paratroopers, Operation Torch, back in 1942. The pouch could then go on to be seen all the way almost into the last stages of the war. And during its time of service, you see quite a bit of variations in that pouch. Different sizes, different colors, as well as different fasteners used to close the pouch. And so what we wanted to do here at Stand in the Door 1944 is offer you that same variety so that you have the option to go and pick the pouch that's most historically accurate for you and the unit that you're representing. So to start off with that, we made our AAF pouch. So the AAF pouch is the Army Air Force pouch. And the reason that we went with that is because this was actually the first pouch that was being issued to paratroopers. They weren't made by riggers, they were actually made by the quartermaster. This is actually featured in the quartermaster catalog. And the riggers took these pouches, and the paratroopers were needing more and more of them, so they started making their own, and then they started making them in different sizes. So we wanted to start off with the original grandfather pouch. And so what identifies this as an AAF pouch primarily is the stencil on the back. So the stencil on the back is actually the original part number that features in the quartermaster catalog. We copied that number as well as the stamp itself from an original and reproduced that on our pouches. In addition to that, we also used a nickel lift-the-dot fastener to finish the pouch. And the reason that we chose to do that is because, again, it was what was featured in that quartermaster catalog. So we wanted to match that original pouch exactly. Moving on from there, we actually have our small rigger pouch, which is actually the exact same thing as the AAF pouch. Only difference is there is no stencil in the back because this was made by a rigger, not made by a factory. And then we also used a black lift-the-dot fastener. We kind of used the black and the nickel lift-the-dot fastener to identify our pouches anyways as an AAF pouch or a rigger-made pouch. So moving on from the small rigger pouch, we get to the medium rigger pouch. So this pouch is just a little bit wider than the small. So it has the ability to carry more ammunition and more hand grenades, is also closed with a black lift-the-dot fastener, and has no stencil on the back. Going from there, we go to our next medium, and the only difference in this one is going to be the color. So it's obviously an OD7, so by the time of Normandy, OD7 would have been relatively common for riggers to have been using these for rigger pouches, because really they're using whatever canvas they can get their hands on. So that's a good option if you're wanting to start getting some color diversity in your belt. Moving on from there, we've got this unique pouch here, which is what's called the 505 version. So the 505 PAR, they started to utilize these around the time of Normandy. So what they did was, rather than using a traditional lift-the-dot fastener, they went and moved to just paracord. And the reason that they did that is they felt like they were losing ammunition. These flaps were coming open on a jump. It doesn't quite make sense, though, because whenever they would use these pouches in combat, once you untie these to access ammunition or to access a hand grenade, to actually be able to close it and secure the rest of the contents that are in this pouch, you actually have to put your rifle down or sling it and actually close this pouch back up. If you don't do that, if you just untie this, open it up, pull out a hand grenade, and then run off, you're going to lose that other hand grenade, or you're going to lose that other ammunition that's in this pouch. So it's not really that great of a design, in my opinion. What we did for the 550 cord on our pouches is we actually gutted our 550 cord. So this is now flat 550 cord. And the reason that we did that is that you can actually make a tighter knot with flat 550 cord than regular non-gutted 550 cord. So it's basically just a tighter, more user-friendly pouch. And lastly, we have our M3 grease gun magazine pouch. And so the reason that we created this is because, one, we actually found photographic evidence of at least 2 of these being used in Normandy, and we wanted to give people the opportunity to have a pouch that's actually a good way of carrying M3 grease gun magazines, because the 3-cell pouches that you see some guys using, as well as the M3 grease gun magazine bags, those actually didn't come out until the very end of the war. In fact, I don't think that I've seen a photograph of any of those being used in the European theater, so I don't think they're really appropriate to be using. We should be using other bags. And this is just one of those options that you can use if you're carrying an M3 grease gun. So all of our rigger pouches, they're going to be made with our high quality OD canvas that's custom made specifically for us. We wanted the highest possible grade canvas so that we can be providing you with the best possible pouch. We also wanted to make a few slight design changes to the actual rigger pouch to make it a longer lasting, better pouch for you so that you can wear it to as many events as you want and you don't have to worry about it really wearing out. And those adjustments that we made are pretty simple, but they go a long way. So one of the things we've did is each of the side seams is actually folded down and sewn at the top. And the reason being for that is because just backstitching in these areas does not provide a lot of reinforcement for the actual pouch itself. So after being open and closed a bunch of times and ammunition being pulled in and out, these seams can actually start to separate. And if they separate enough, the whole pouch can come undone. That's not any good. So what we've done is we actually fold over those flaps on both sides and sew them down to the canvas. So that way it's virtually impossible for the seams to open up on these pouches. The other thing that we did is we wanted to reinforce the post of the lift-the-dot fastener. Because if you don't do that after use and you're constantly pulling up on that lift-the-dot stud, there's a real sharp disc that is the backing part of that lift-the-dot stud, and that disc will actually cut in the canvas and will actually rip a hole directly through the canvas. And once that happens, this pouch is shot. You might as well throw it away. So what we have done is we've actually taken a small disc of leather and we've actually reinforced every single one of our lift-the-dots so that that leather is creating basically a buffer between that metal disc in the back and your canvas. So it's really exceptionally difficult to actually pull these lift-the-dot studs out of your pouch. So long and the short of it, it basically gives you the longest, most durable rigger pouch that has possibly ever been made. And we wanted to do that so that whenever you buy one of our pouches, it's really the last pouch that you have to buy. So in addition to making one of the most historically accurate and toughest reproduction rigger pouches that's on the market, we also wanted to make a really user-friendly one as well. And so what we decided to do there is so on every one of our small and every one of our medium rigger pouches, there's going to be an additional line item that you can add on for a few dollars more that's adding these items here. You've got an elastic band, and then you've got several block spacers. And what these spacers are going to do is they're going to keep the ammunition in your pouch closer to the top. So let me show you how we use this real quick. So as we open up this pouch, this one has live ammunition in it. So as you can see, it's only sitting about a 1/4 inch beneath the lip of the pouch. So these end blocks are really easy to get out. And basically what we want to do is we want to take up the extra height in that pouch so that we can lift up our shorter blanks so that rather than being down here in the pouch, they're all the way up here. So what we did is whenever you put all 3 foam spacers in there and you open up that pouch, these end blocks are sitting right at the top of the pouch, so they're easy to pull out with your fingers. Whereas if we take the foam spacers out of the pouch, so remove these and put in the exact same end blocks in the exact same fashion, see how deep the end blocks are inside this pouch? I mean, it's a solid 1.5 inches from the top to the bottom, and it's difficult to get your fingers in there. Yes, obviously you can put more end blocks in the top of your pouch and close that up, so you can carry more blanks obviously than you can carry live ammunition, but at the same time it's very difficult to be getting these out effectively and not be having, you know, these rattling around inside your pouch. Now for the elastic band that's included in this alternate price, this is going to be the saving grace of the rigger pouch. Because what it's going to be doing, it's going to be providing retention inside the pouch. Because in its current state, the way a rigger pouch is, if you undo this to pull out ammunition or pull out a hand grenade, you pull out that ammunition and you forget to lock down that pouch, all of a sudden whenever you go to run off, you're going to be losing all of that ammunition or whatever is inside that pouch. So what you do is you're going to take any traditional rigger pouch, whether it's a small or a medium. You're going to open it up, put your ammunition in, however you like to organize it, and then you're going to take this strap and you're going to feed it inside the pouch over the top of that ammunition to where it's looking something like that. Because once it's in here, you're going to take it and you're actually going to hand stitch it in place. If you've got a sewing machine that'll eat through that, more power to you. But otherwise, it's just going to take a couple minutes, hand stitch that. It's the exact same way you're hand stitching all of your patches and all of your rank insignia and so forth. So it's really no different than that. But once it's in place, it's not allowing your ammunition to come out of the pouch unless you make it. So you can still put your fingers in there and you can still pull out your end block. You can still easily access your ammunition. But then if you forget to close this flap and you go running off, you're not losing your ammunition anymore. You're not losing those hand grenades because that retention strap is going to be keeping all that stuff exactly where you want it. It's this little retention strap that makes having a rigger pouch a blessing rather than a burden in reenacting. Well, there it is, fellas. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you on the drop zone.